We were deep in enemy territory. Dust choking the air, boots sunk in rubble, adrenaline pounding in our ears. The mission was crystal clear. Clear the compound, secure intel, no distractions. But then, I heard it. Faint, fragile, a cry that didn't belong on a battlefield. It wasn't a scream of fear or pain. It was something else entirely. Something that would change everything about who I thought I was as a soldier. Somewhere in the broken remains of a home we just cleared, a baby was calling for someone. And the moment I heard that sound, my entire world shifted. Because what I was about to discover in that rubble, it would force me to make a choice that could end my military career, but also heal a wound I never thought would stop bleeding. Before we dive into today's incredible story, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I love connecting with viewers from around the world. And if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we share the most incredible true stories you've never heard before. Afghanistan, 2016. I was a combat engineer attached to a forward recon unit. 4th deployment. By then, I was hardened, sharp, and numb to most things the battlefield could throw at me. That morning, we'd rolled out before sunrise following intel about a suspected safe house that doubled as a weapons cache. Standard operation. I was just doing my job. Focused, professional, efficient. But something about that mission felt different from the start. Maybe it was the eerie silence hanging over the compound. Maybe it was the weight of something from my past that I thought I'd buried deep enough. What I never expected was that this routine mission would rip open an old wound I thought had scarred over years ago. And what happened next? It would test everything I believed about duty, orders, and what it really means to serve. We breached the entry with military precision. Stack formation, flash grenades, room-by-room sweep, clear each sector methodically. Room after room revealed nothing but debris and haunting silence. No hostiles, no gunfire, just the ghostly aftershock of lives that used to exist here. Then I entered the final room. Walls cracked like spider webs, a broken crib overturned in the corner, scattered toys covered in dust. And then it came again, that soft whimper that had stopped me cold. I motioned for the others to hold their position. My heart was hammering as I moved closer to investigate. Tucked behind a makeshift curtain, barely visible through the settling dust, I found her. Maybe 1-year-old, clutching something that used to be a blanket, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and hope, dirt caked on her tiny face. The moment she saw me, she reached out with those little arms and babbled one word that hit me like a sniper's bullet. Mama. I felt my breath leave my body. Because suddenly, I wasn't standing in Afghanistan anymore. I was transported back to a hospital room years earlier, staring at a stillborn chart, gripping a name I'd never get to say out loud. The grief I had buried under uniforms and duty and deployments came slamming back with the force of an IED detonation. But here's what made this moment even more impossible. Behind me, my team was radioing in for status updates. We had strict orders, no engagement with civilians. I was supposed to tag the room as clear, call for civil affairs to handle any non-combatants, and move on to the next objective. Standard protocol. Simple, clean, professional. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't walk out of that room and leave her behind. So I made a decision that could have destroyed my career. I told them the room wasn't clear. I lied to my own unit to buy time. As they swept the next sector, I wrapped her in my jacket and whispered that everything would be okay. She didn't cry again. Just looked at me with those enormous eyes like she somehow already knew I wasn't going anywhere. When command finally discovered what was happening, they pushed back hard. Said evacuation wasn't possible for unregistered non-combatants, that it wasn't our mission, that I was compromising operational security. But then something incredible happened that I never saw coming. One by one, my squad stepped forward. These hardened soldiers, men who had followed orders without question through multiple deployments, suddenly had my back in a way I never expected. They looked command straight in the eye, and said they saw no weapons cache in that compound. Said the only thing we found worth protecting was her. The brass wasn't happy, but they finally relented. A medical evacuation helicopter came in at dusk. But they made one thing crystal clear. Once she reached the forward operating base, she wasn't my responsibility anymore. The problem was, I already knew that wasn't true. Because what I was about to do next would require a kind of courage I'd never needed in combat. It took 6 months. 6 months of red tape that made firefights look simple. Psychological evaluations, international paperwork, legal battles harder than anything I'd faced overseas. But I never let go. Every single week, I visited her at the base shelter. I brought books she couldn't read yet, toys that made her laugh. I held her when she cried from nightmares. I took leave just to rock her to sleep when the memories got too heavy. I called her Noor. It means light in Arabic. And you know what the most incredible part was? Through every bureaucratic nightmare, every evaluation, every person who told me I was crazy, she was healing something in me that I didn't even realize was still broken. The day the papers finally went through, the day I signed as her legal guardian, was the first day in years I felt like I'd made peace with the life I'd lost. She gave me a second chance to be something other than just a soldier. She gave me a reason to come home that went deeper than duty or honor or patriotism. She gave me hope. Now she's 7 years old. She loves drawing pictures of helicopters. She can recite radio callouts like a pro, much to the amusement of my old squad mates who visit. She asks me if she can be a pilot someday. And she still calls me Mama. People always ask if I regret it, if I feel like I abandoned the mission, if I threw away my military career for a stranger's child. But they don't understand something crucial. That was the mission, the real mission I was meant to complete. Sometimes the battlefield doesn't just break you down. Sometimes it offers you exactly what you need to rebuild yourself into something better. Noor wasn't just a baby I found in the rubble of a war-torn compound. She was the part of me I didn't know had survived. What do you think? Could you have made the choice I made, risking everything for a child who wasn't even mine? Let me know in the comments below. And if this story moved you, smash that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories that show the power of human compassion. I'll see you in the next one.